George and Willy's World, boys and girls. I'm glad you're here with us for another episode. It's another exciting, wonderful show. And I'm here with Willy, George, and Mrs. Krantz. Hello, Mrs. Krantz. I'm glad you're back with us.
Thank you.
And if you weren't here for our last show, Mrs. Krantz was gone to Australia for 2 weeks to see her son. Now we're glad you're back.
Thank you.
And tell us where George was during those 2 weeks. Was he on the airplane with you?
No, I think that would have been really hard. It's a very long airplane trip. So George was at home with her friend Catherine, a house sitter, who took George for walks and fed her and brushed her, and they just had a really good time together.
And how many hours were you on the plane?
15.
Wow.
It's a very long trip.
Wow. So boys and girls, if you missed that last time, that is a long trip. She said she read. How many movies were on the plane?
Oh, they probably had 30 or 40 different movies you could choose.
You're kidding. Oh
yeah.
My, I get one whenever I go on a plane. One is it. And I'm so glad you're here, and I'm glad you're back with us, because we missed George and we missed you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Willy and I have just been kind of working in our garden this summer and just enjoying taking walks every day. And he likes to go for walks and get lots of stickers on him. You said George gets stickers on him too. And we just enjoy each day working in the yard and spending time together. So school is getting started, so we'll be back to school. I hope that you're getting ready to start learning again if you haven't been watching our show. Today we're going to be talking about our mouth and what's inside our mouth. Anybody know what's inside our mouth? Teeth. And we're going to be talking about teeth and learning how to take care of your teeth. And we have a very special guest who's going to tell us about that. I brush my teeth every day, sometimes twice a day, in the morning and at night. And we were talking about that. George and Willy also have their teeth brushed too, because they can get cavities. And so it's very important that we brush our dog's teeth also, because we don't want them to get cavities. And if you don't brush your teeth, you might have breath that other people might smell. Same with dogs. So we're going to be talking about teeth and brushing and how to take care of them. And our special guest today is Dr. Mark Paye, and he is a dentist. And come and join us. I'm glad you're here with us.
Thank you.
Welcome to our show. Please have a seat and join us. Willy will stay over there with you. Come on, George. Come meet Dr. Paye. Here's Dr. Paye. So tell us a little bit about what it's like to be a dentist.
I've been a dentist for about 35 years, and I enjoy it quite a bit. It's always nice being able to work in your own little environment. Sometimes that's also hard, too, because you're in the same place every day.
And I bet you some of the boys and girls at home and their families and parents probably come to your dentist office.
Nevada County is a large area, and there are a lot of dentists and physicians in the area, and I'm sure I've seen a few.
A few of them, I'm sure.
Years.
So you may recognize this man as your dentist. And if you haven't been to a dentist, they can sure look you up, maybe, huh? Or find. I know that they
actually there's several pedodontists in town.
And what is that?
Well, they're children dentists, and
right.
they're a little bit more geared to handling the children and up until about 18 or so.
Yeah. And what does a dentist do?
Dentist takes care of the teeth in the mouth. They could put fillings in. They could do root canals. They could extract teeth. They could do almost anything in there.
Means?
To wiggle teeth out.
Oh, take them out.
Take them out, yes.
Yes. And some of the boys and girls at home are probably already losing a couple of teeth. And that's different than them naturally falling out like they are going to have happen and when they come to the dentist to have one taken out.
That's right. Children routinely lose their baby teeth up until they're about 12 years of age. And then they start, most of them have permanent teeth in there by that time, which they'll keep the rest of their life. And that's why we want to brush 2 or 3 times a day so that we manage to keep all their permanent teeth if we can.
Yes. I know that many of the boys and girls at home, they're still very young, but some of them already know what they want to be when they grow up. And what do you have to do in order to be a dentist?
Well, you got to go to high school, study hard, work hard, and then you go to college, and there's a curriculum, certain classes that you can take to become help you get into what's called dental school. And the curriculum you take or the classes you take kind of correspond with whether or not you want to be a teacher, whether or not you want to work and be a forester, whether or not you want to be a doctor, whether or not you want to be a nurse. So you can take the classes and pretty much go on to anything that you want to.
How many years does it take to be a dentist?
It took me 8 years of schooling to become a dentist.
So it's very possible. I know when I became a teacher, it took me 5 years to become a teacher. So
it's every bit as hard to become a teacher as it is a dentist.
And you just
really
have to keep going and have
that's right.
Whatever you like to do. It's kind of like practicing. You just keep practicing and practicing. Before you know it, you go to school and you practice all of that stuff. You can.
That's why they call us a dental practice. You're always practicing.
And I learn things every day that are new.
Yeah.
So I didn't think about it that way, but
poor joke. Okay.
I know. So you have a couple stories you're going to be reading us. And boys and girls at home, they're both fiction stories, which means they're make-believe. So you have 2 make-believe stories. One of them, I think, which one are you going to be reading first?
Clarabella's Teeth.
And that's about a crocodile.
A crocodile.
And some other animals. So boys and girls at home, are you ready to listen? George and Willie. Mrs. Krantz, are you ready?
I'm ready.
And I'm ready. Please begin when you're ready. Thank you.
Clarabella's Teeth. Author and illustrator Anne von Brott. It's time to wake up. Ruby brushes her rabbit teeth. Liam brushes his leopard teeth. Max brushes his monkey teeth. Zoe brushes her zebra teeth. And Clarabella, she brushes and brushes her crocodile teeth. It's playtime. Ruby builds a sandcastle. Liam races on his scooter. Max makes a mess. Zoe plays with a puzzle. And Clarabella, she brushes and brushes and brushes her crocodile teeth. It's lunchtime. Ruby nibbles a ripe mango. Liam licks a lollipop. Max sips a milkshake. Zoe munches a sandwich. And Clarabella, she brushes and brushes and brushes her crocodile teeth. It's tumble time. Ruby rolls over. Liam leaps. Max bounces up and down. Zoe spins round and round and round. And Clarabella, she has brushed all her crocodile teeth and is ready to play. But where are her friends? They're getting ready for bed. It's time to brush our teeth, says Zoe and Liam and Max and Ruby. And Clarabella, she sighs a long crocodile sigh, and then Ruby has an idea. Close your eyes, Clarabella. It's a surprise. A crocodile toothbrush for Clarabella. Hooray, cheered Ruby and Liam and Max and Chloe. Tomorrow we can all play together. And Clarabella, she smiles a crocodile smile.
Wow, that was wonderful. Mrs. Kranz was telling me that she just went to the dentist today.
Yes.
All right.
It's important that we have our teeth cleaned too.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you have them cleaned?
No, I broke a tooth
Oh.
on Saturday. I was not
boy.
very happy.
I've broken them too.
Oh.
Happens
So
to us all.
I'm really happy when I have a dentist who can fix them again.
That's good. That's good.
And you have a second book for us.
I do, yes.
And this story is another make-believe story. It has a make-believe character named Arthur.
Arthur.
But a real life thing happens. So listen to what the real life thing that happens in this make-believe story is.
The name of the book is Arthur's Tooth, and the author is Mark Brown. Finally, Arthur had a loose tooth. He wiggled it with his tongue. He wiggled it with his finger. He wiggled it all the time. One afternoon, while Arthur was wiggling his tooth during math, he heard a loud scream. Francine jumped up. "My tooth just fell out on my desk," she cried. "Class, how many of you have lost a tooth?" asked Mr. Marco. Everyone but Arthur raised their hands. When Arthur got home, he didn't want any milk and cookies. "What's the matter, Arthur?" his mother asked. "I'm the only one in my class who still has all my baby teeth," he complained. "Don't worry," said his sister D.W. Before you know it, all your teeth will fall out and you can get false teeth just like Grandma Thor." Arthur persuaded Father to make a special dinner for him. Steak, corn on the cob, and peanut brittle. "I can't believe one little tooth can take so long to fall out," said Father. The next day, Muffy brought in a whole jar of her teeth for the show and tell. "I got $2 for each one," she said. "One from my dad, one from my mom. I put it all in the bank to earn interest. I'm waiting for my investment to double." "Not me," said Francine. "I'm spending mine." Later, the class saw a movie called Mr. Nasty Tooth Decay. Between the ages of 4 and 7, the announcer began, "Everyone begins to lose their deciduous or baby teeth." "Everyone except Arthur," shouted Francine. The whole class laughed. Arthur slid down in his seat. He wiggled his tooth as hard as he could. In the cafeteria, Francine practiced her new tricks. "Look," she said, "I can keep my teeth closed and still drink through a straw, and I can squirt water too." Everybody lined up for a squirting contest. Everybody except Arthur. Babies with baby teeth can squirt water. By the next day, Arthur was convinced his loose tooth would never fall out. His friends tried to help. Buster brought carrots for Arthur's lunch. Sue Ellen showed Arthur how to put raisins over his teeth to make it look as if some were missing. The brain invented a special machine. "It's a tooth remover," he explained. Just put your head in here. Even Binky Barnes wanted to help. I can knock that tooth out in 1 second flat, he said. That night, Arthur spent a lot of time in front of the bathroom mirror. He got up very early the next morning to wiggle his tooth again. See how much looser it is, he told his parents. That's it, said his mother. You need professional help. You're going to the dentist today. Going to the dentist, asked Francine. Boy, do I feel sorry for you. There were other patients waiting to see Dr. Zozlu. Sorry, said the nurse, we're running late. Have a seat. Arthur, you were smart to bring a book, said Mother. Finally, it was Arthur's turn. I wish all my patients were as good at waiting as you, said Dr. How old are you, said Arthur. 7, said Arthur. I still have all my baby teeth. I was 8 before I lost my first tooth, said Dr. Sozo. Everyone is different. Really, said Arthur. Dr. Solo examined Arthur's loose teeth. This one should fall out very soon, he said. Just wait. Arthur got back to school just in time for recess. Still have all your baby teeth, Francine asked. Then you can't be in the game. I'm the tooth fairy. Only people who have lost teeth can play. If you're the tooth fairy, said Arthur, I think I'll keep all my teeth. I can wait. He started over to the softball game. Whoever I touch, said Francine, loses a tooth. She flapped her arms. The one who loses the most wins. She twirled faster and touched Sue Ellen. Twirling even faster, she slipped and hit Arthur. Sorry, Arthur, Francine said, but I told you no babies allowed. Arthur picked up his glasses. It's okay, he said. It's probably the nicest thing you've ever done for me. For me. What do you mean? Asked Francine. Arthur just smiled.
Sounds like many children that I have wondering when they're going to lose teeth in my class.
Yeah.
But it finally happens. And dogs lose their puppy teeth, too.
What grade of teacher are you?
I teach 3rd grade.
Oh.
And
okay.
they're still losing teeth in 3rd grade.
Age.
Yes. Lots of times they'll have both of their 2 front teeth gone.
They're 9 years old then,
yes.
And that's just after that.
8, yeah, 8 and 9.
That's right.
Yes, wow, wonderful. And if you, so you don't see children as much as you see adults then?
Not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They say that your practice is kind of made up of people about 10 years older and 10 years younger than you, because that's who you kind of relate to. And I'm a little bit older than
Could you give any of the boys and girls at home any instructions or strategies for what's important, when to brush, and where to brush, and with what, so they can maybe just hear a couple of things from a dentist and what's important, how to brush?
I think it's important to brush as soon as you possibly can after you eat. Mm-hmm. If you can't brush, you should try and rinse your mouth out with water or something like that to kind of neutralize the acid content in the mouth. And I always encourage people to try and brush after each meal, mm-hmm. If they can. Now, maybe at noontime they're away from a toothbrush, but in the morning and the evening they can certainly get to a toothbrush fairly quickly after a meal if they can. And it's just a matter of practice, as you say, and habits, forming the habits to do it.
And so mom and dad at home and adults at home, it's very important for you to encourage your children to brush
Yes.
as often, too.
Yeah, it is very important for parents to help their children, especially at young ages.
Yeah.
At 5 or 6, some of the children don't really have the manual dexterity with their hands.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as a teacher, just using a pencil is difficult for them. And using the toothbrush is kind of hard. So they might want to even brush their teeth for their children at the beginning, you know, 5 or 6 in there.
And I've even seen children just going around with a toothbrush in their mouth. And
you know, there's nothing really wrong with that. You want to be kind of careful so that you don't fall down and that.
Yeah, so it's better to just do it in front of the sink a couple, 3 times a day, or rinse your mouth out with water.
And I think that's all important. You know, for me, I think brushing your teeth is kind of boring too, especially in front of a sink. So I kind of like to read a book or read a newspaper, or, you know, watch television or.
And one other question I have is, when you brush your teeth for the boys and girls, do you brush up and down like this or side to side?
I encourage young kids to kind of brush the teeth the way they grow. Their top teeth grow down, so you brush down. Their bottom teeth grow up, so you brush up, and then brush kind of the tabletops of the teeth. Yeah.
On the sides.
And I like have them brush their tongue too. It's very important, I think, for people to brush their tongue. That helps with, you mentioned at the beginning of the show, bad breath.
Right.
And just bacteria in the mouth, you kind of get rid of it a little bit.
So those are great strategies. And please stay there. I have a couple of activities I'm going to share with the children, and you might enjoy one of them. Those are some great tips for the children and parents at home to learn from. And today we're going to be doing a food activity, so I think I better put my apron on because I don't want to get food on me if I can help it. I haven't worn this in a while. We've been doing so many crafts, but not food activities. So we have 2 activities today, and I just think this one's so cute. What does that look like? It looks like a tooth. And actually, it would look more like that, because these are the roots of the tooth, and they would go up into the jaw. But for our activity, this is what it looks like. And this is when you lose a tooth. You can put the tooth in there and put it in a safe place. Sometimes it might be under your pillow. Sometimes it might be on a desktop or a dresser drawers for the tooth fairy to come. And I bet you if you put a tooth in there, there may be something waiting in the morning when you wake up. And let me show you how to make that. Yeah. So what we've done with felt is made a pattern of a tooth, and Mom and Dad at home, you'll be doing this for your youngster because you're using scissors, and it's real important that the children have adult supervision when they do that. So we've just cut out a tooth, and we've cut out some wings. Now in this particular one, we have made little slits in the back, and we've laced the wings in through the slits. But you can also just put it right in between. So you would put it in between, and then the other tooth would have to match right on top. And I didn't get it the right side, so I'm going to flip it. And then all I'm going to do is staple it, because that is going to hold the tooth in. You can use Elmer's glue again. That would definitely help holding the edges down. Or you can just staple around the edges. Just a couple staples would do the trick. And probably you'd want to make sure you use the Elmer's glue on the bottom, because we wouldn't want anything to happen to that tooth once it comes out. And then if you'd like to, you can leave it blank like this, because now there is an opening. You can put the tooth inside and enough room for those goodies when you wake up and look for them. Or you can put a letter on the front. Maybe it'll be the letter of your name that can go on the front. So that's one thing that you can make, and this can be something you can keep from year to year and put it in your book of all your pictures, picture books and tooth books. I have those for my sons too. Our other activity is a snack, and we start with 2 little slices of apple. Looks pretty interesting, but between the apple we are going to be putting peanut butter. I'm going to put a lot of peanut butter on this side. Notice I have paper towels here, and wipe my hands if I need to, and some peanut butter on this side. So I put peanut butter on both sides, both of which are good for you, peanut butter and apples. And then I'm going to, I need those paper towels, kind of squish them together. Uh-oh, and I've done something with that. I better use my paper towel, because I don't know if you'll like this. There's marshmallows, but you know what I was thinking when you were reading that book? You could also use white raisins, golden raisins, and right in there I'm going to be putting these in, and what do they look like? They look like teeth. And it's a wonderful smile. This is what we want your teeth to look like, nice and bright. And there you go. We have a tooth, a nice smile. So those are some things you can use at home and make at home. Well, boys and girls, we've just about run out of time. Just enough time to tell you to please write us a letter. Tell us what you like about our show, and tell us, write to George or Willie or Mrs. Kranz or myself, and maybe you want to write to Mr. Paye and tell him how much you've enjoyed the show. And write to First 5, 235 South Auburn Street in Grass Valley, 95945. And until our next time, listen to lots of stories, do your job, and have fun playing. Until next time, bye-bye.